Hi, this is the Daily Kaleidoscope for April 14th, 2020. Thanks for tuning in. So for today, which ultimately this is just tends to be more of the message that may need to be heard today. Again, not necessarily. Okay, well, actually, this can be taken a lot of different ways, and I really encourage you to, listen to your intuition, see what kind of resonates with you, as well as by looking at the imagery as well. Um, it might call into some kind of epiphanies or any ideas, or really help you tune into that intuition. But yeah, no, we have some interesting energies that popped up, and again, my goal is always to kind of get just one energy, but two came out. So I mean, this can be taken in a definitely in a practical way for today, which I could say just quickly would be potentially really about connecting with your feelings, maybe connecting with another, really kind of, being shown the way and kind of being guided, kind of following where with your intuition and where you're guided. Now, granted, on a much larger scale, um, this is definitely some big energies. Okay, that will take longer to play out. I mean, on a personal level, this could be something that, if you've already been going through this process, maybe this is the time where it kind of, really kind of makes sense to you, maybe. Or maybe this is the time where it's like, okay, maybe I should put more focus in that self reflection. But carrying on from the kaleidoscope from the long weekend, if you haven't heard that, I would encourage you to kind of look through that. Is that this is actually also a larger message about, again, heal yourself, heal the world. And so what we have here is, so I'm going to show the cards, kind of like the energies one by one, probably, and then just kind of go through. Anyways, so what we have here, oh, you saw a little preview of. Actually, do you know what? That's probably perfect. See leeway. Okay, so like the Maharaj says that prior to taking this form, you were formless. Spontaneously, the form came, and when the form came, there was a natural longing to return to the formless state. When you want to return to the formless, desireless state, then only you come here to seek what you are. The consciousness has to know the consciousness. When it realizes itself, then only do you return to normal. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with this quote or how much that makes sense right now, but ultimately that really leads into the way. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of closer to this. So this is the way. And so if any of you are familiar with traditional tarot, this energy is not included. Okay, so one thing I love about patch tarot is that it really does a lot to combine a lot of systems, I suppose. So this does a lot to combine with, the tree of life and Kabbalah. In this specific energy, it also references the Tao, and that's actually what it says at the top as well. And so what this actually relates to is the fact that there are three hidden energies that are or three special realms, I suppose, that are hidden within the tree of life. And so there's been a lot of correspondence when it comes to tarot and the tree of life. And so when it comes to the major arcana, the 22 paths kind of coincide quite well. Okay. And then when he was developing this deck, so this is spirit science, he really kind of developed these extra energies that really kind of represent, ultimately, and I apologize if I butcher the spelling, but it's like the Ein Sof, and the Ein Sofer of, basically it's above and below the tree of life. And so with the way represents it is the representing of the Tao. It's also representing of being in within the tree of life. And so, which is, I'm going to say, which is about the nothingness, or the vacuum of pure spirit. So I'm going to say it's kind of like, so this is, I'm probably going to actually read this quote, but it's like, it's described as the void. So it's the complete and utter nothingness before the concept of creation ever existed. And then he uses the word as nothing, but the fact is, in essence, with the Tao, in order to fully embrace it or understand it, it cannot be described with words. So this is really about the energy of, the way, and having that true faith in the path. And sometimes you don't know, you don't know why, potentially. You just know that that's the way and that's where you're going, and so that's kind of like the essence of this card, of this energy. And so what it is really asking us to do is really, it reminds, anyone that kind of sees it that, what we are seeing is not, and it cannot possibly be the way, but must be felt, really inside of us in order to truly be comprehended. Okay. So this is, in essence, again, about all of us following our path, and, that infinite, formless, kind of shapeless perfection that really just guides us, and so it's really kind of, by following those patterns, those natural currents, that we kind of find, that peace and serenity in our lives. It's really when we can, go with the natural flow of things. So again, it is about that perfect, trust and faith that, again, you know the way forward. And so a lot of the times it is about slowing down, okay, and paying attention to the details, and looking within. And so it's really interesting that it came up with, the Queen of Cups. So I find it together. So, this is about both, again, like internally, but as well as a society, okay? Like, again, with the weekend read, it was about, heal yourself, heal the world. It's like, what is that world that we want to create? And now with everything slowing down, we are being given a gift. And so what are we going to do with that gift individually as well as collectively? Again, the theme of the weekend is kind of, you shape the reality, in the world, and the world shapes you, and it's an ongoing back and forth. Okay. But however, if we're not being reflective and conscious about, why we do the things we do, why we react the way we react, ultimately we would just keep perpetuating the same issues over and over again. And so with the Queen of Cups here, okay, so this is a court card, this is energy, this is watery energy, and then ultimately this is water upon water, so emotions upon emotions, okay, so this is very reflective, and together these two energies suggest that, actually I have it here. If you can kind of see, like, and I love how this deck really the colors flow one into the other, okay, but let's see if I can get this bigger. Okay. So it really shows that kind of, with the Queen of Cups, again, she is emotion, she's love, she, cares, she's reflective, she inspires, but she doesn't do the work for people. Okay. She is ultimately like a reflection of the outside world, and it almost says that, like, there's there's multiple messages here, and I would suggest you to kind of take what you take and what resonates with you, because this is both suggesting, the encouragement of meditating, stopping and being in that stillness, and that, like, everything that ever was, kind of comes back to the core of center, and it starts from within. And so this could be, again, relating to yourself, but this can also represent, a person who, again, is receptive and reflective, who you might gain wisdom from, and, you know, gain any kind of, like, there might be some wisdom from connecting with them. And so it does, I love how, you see how one goes to the other. And it's like, regardless, it's like if you're connecting with others, and then again, if we're all connecting with our emotions a little bit more, and having empathy for each other, it can lead to us to the way forward, especially if we're all doing the inner work within ourselves. Okay, and so let's look at this energy a little bit, okay? I like how they depict her. So in one hand, she has, a cup. And within that cup is the tree of life. That really kind of states that, like, again, within our emotions and looking deep within our emotions, we do have the ability for, profound inner growth and, spiritual growth as well. And on the other hand, she has, a newborn. So again, it's that, reflective and within our emotions that we can create as well. And so I love how she's in a bunch of bubbles, and it shows the multiple reflections. And if you actually look closely enough, the reflections are like reverse, again, to her. And so it's like if you were looking into into a river or any kind of body of water, when you look at it, the reflection is not how you see yourself in the mirror, okay? It's a complete opposite. But from that, you are able to, get get different perspectives, as well as, ultimately this represents, how people are also a reflection of yourself. Like we do, attract people into our lives for certain reasons. Certain people trigger us for certain reasons. And if things do trigger us, comes down to really looking within, and seeing what is the core of that. Okay, and finally releasing that, finally becoming in peace with that, and finally being able to kind of grow and allowing yourself, the infinite, possibilities that exist for you, which is really endless. And so I love how this came out. I love how this also shows that, again, a process, of us, going through, this big transition time. It's exciting. It's like we are, challenging, the status quo in a lot of ways, and or being forced to it, or at least forced to revision it or relook at it. And so it really kind of, stemming from that weekend read into here, it kind of shows the whole process. Again, it does always start from within. From within, you can influence the communities. Within the communities, you kind of influence, countries, and then the world, and then the universe. It keeps going, that ripple effect, right? So obviously, it is easier to start with yourself, and that ultimately that's all you can do is work on yourself. You can't control anything else that's outside of you. You can only work on yourself. And so that change, again, still comes, slow, but, a little bit every day. But in the grand scheme of the cosmic timeline, it comes fast, within, a generation, something can come really fast and change. Think about how quickly technology has changed, and then as we start changing communities, you're already seeing this happening, everywhere, and people are adapting to different societal structures, and, giving benefits and giving assistance that they didn't have before. And then as we keep going and as we keep growing, like, look at this card. Like, you can see right, the world is right there. Okay. And this is actually quite a progression from the Judgment or the Aeon card that came on the weekend. And it's the fact that, okay, in that pictorial vision of that energy, it showed the world, it showed the earth in ruins. It showed, like, in fires and flames, and, and it's kind of like in that destruction process, as we're starting to be like, okay, this no longer fits us. The ego lasted too long. Like, I mean, it took over, now we have to kind of balance it out. Is that like that didn't work? There's too many injustices in this. We don't, anyways, I digress, but in this energy here with the way, okay, is that, you see the earth has ascended, okay, and you can kind of see the possibilities, kind of in the background. It's actually supposed to be kind of like various like religious buildings, and it's kind of showing the, connection of like, spirituality kind of like has, and the way that we can kind of, embrace anything. Like, it doesn't matter per se what way you choose, but the key is this, is that you can see is that even the top is like, if you're a praying person, you know that is potentially a good way to kind of get that clarity, as well as, again, meditation and being more mindful of the actions. So, I mean, again, little bit by little bit, but again, if you change yourself, and you really will change the world. And so this is really an exciting time. I'm excited that this energy came out. I've actually never really fully had the chance to talk about this one before. So I'm actually really excited about the fact that if I look back in the last week and what energies are coming out, these are huge. Okay. I've been doing tarot for quite a bit now, and I'm, decently into poker. So, I mean, in terms of odds and cards and things like that, certain cards and energies do not pop up as often as others. And I'm not saying that they come whenever they're needed to be heard, and whenever people are drawn to it. Okay. If you happen to come across this, a week from now, a month from now, and you happen to draw, then it should resonate to an extent, and maybe even more so than it does now. But I find that this is such a powerful time we're going through right now, and, it's like, again, what are you going to do with this gift? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to reflect within? Embrace, this, well, yeah, slow down that we have, and see what you want to create. And so, yes, so thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, it was helpful. And thank you for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Bye.